So what would you do if you were in a city, a strange city to you, visiting, traveling, whatever, and everything collapsed? It all went down. Violence erupted all around you. What would you do if you were in a foreign country and you found yourself in the middle of a coup with your family? That's what I want to make a suggestion to you now. This is more a drill than anything. Okay, we could go on for hours, and maybe I will. I've seen a couple video headlines lately about escaping from the city. I've watched a few minutes, and I went, So I've been thinking about doing that. Maybe I will sometime, but this is more the drill than the long explanation. It would take a long explanation on the things to keep in mind, the things to do escaping a city. So, by the way, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I took a long time talking before I said that, didn't I? I'm Steve Smith, and it's good to see you all. For those watching and following us on the Patreon channel, I just put up a new section of the second book, The Revival, the audio reading of The Revival. So if you're watching us there, it's available on the Stonemont level over on the Patreon channel. I watched a movie some time ago, and I meant to do something on it, and then I forgot about it. And I was going through Netflix last night. I get very busy, and then I was very tired last night, and I wanted to take a mental break. So, watch a movie, right? I don't find many movies that I like, but as I was scanning through Netflix, it popped up, this movie that I had meant to talk about, and it was called No Escape. It stars Owen Wilson. Is that his name? Owen Wilson. I'm not a big fan. He's a pretty good actor. I've never been a fan of the characters that he plays, so it's like one of those things. It stars him. Pierce Brosnan is also in it. Anyway, Owen Wilson plays the part of a guy who is sent by his company, I think it was Cargill, they never name the country, but it's Thailand, or Thailand. And he takes his family there. Well, it's all of a sudden a military coup erupts, and he finds himself in the middle of an uprising, a violent uprising against the government, and a hatred for Americans. Interesting, right? Now, I have to say, there's a lot of people. Don't worry, this doesn't just apply to those who may be living outside the United States. This can apply, the lessons in this movie can apply to you if you're in any congested area when things fall apart. I highly recommend this, and I'll say that right up front. I highly recommend you watching the movie, and then I'll say a few more things. Because it shows, I think they did a good job of showing the confusion, the dynamic energy of an uprising or a violent riot erupting. And there are a lot of lessons in this. Now, I will say, Pierce Brosnan plays a CIA guy, one of these guys that spent far too many years and away from home and dealing with this kind of stuff. He's pretty good. There's a couple of overly dramatic things in there, but I think all in all, it was well acted, it was well directed, it was well photographed, it was well written, and it's worth watching. Let me have a sip before I continue. Now, I have my doubts whether the character as portrayed by Wilson would have been able to save his family and survive. There were some of those things that you get in movies, to where, well, it just worked. It just worked. It's a movie, right? And they needed that to drive the plot. So yeah, I think that in this scenario they all would have escaped just fine? No, I don't. I think there would have been different things happening, and there are. I'll say this right up front. It's been a couple of months since I saw the movie, and there's just not coming back to me that there are a couple of times that he would have been killed right off, but you know the script writers make it so he didn't get killed because we needed more movie. Anyway, that's my suggestion would be watch this movie. Watch it. Because most people don't really, I'll tell you what, I have never wanted to live overseas. A lot of people do, and they like. I've never really enjoyed traveling overseas, I'll be honest with you, because I know that I'm far away from, my support. I'm far away from a culture that I thoroughly understand. I'm in a different culture. Now, you can do it, and plenty of people do. I understand that. It's just not my thing. I've never wanted to. When you move outside the United States, your danger profile increases. The idea, look at the things. When governments begin to destabilize, when countries start to destabilize, finally at a certain point, much longer after they should, the U.S. government, recommends, hey, all U.S. citizens leave that country. Well, they do that at the very end because of the political aspects of it. But danger has been building up in that. And things, as you've heard me say before, things can flash before you know it. And you don't understand what's going on. In this case, they find themselves in a strange city. They have a couple of friends. Many people hate them. They don't know the streets. They don't know, anything like that. That's what makes it a good movie for a lesson and a drill on your part. But anyway, I've never really felt safe when I'm outside the country because I know the challenges that I would face in dealing with situations and then getting back. It makes for great movies. And in this case, I think it's worthwhile. Anyway, I would suggest you watch the movie. It's on Netflix now, and I would suggest you sit and watch it with your family or your group, and use it as a training situation and say, what should he have done? Did he do right? Did he do something stupid? What would you do? And especially if you travel overseas, I know we have a number of people on the Patreon channel that regularly travel out of the country. And, I'm sure, they're very smart, and I'm sure they've thought of most of these things, but I think it's a good one to watch just in case. One of the first things that you do when you travel, I'll put this tip in here. Like I said, I'm not going to give advice right now, but one of the first things you do when you travel, if you haven't been able to take a weapon, a firearm with you, is you get a weapon. You may not be able to get a firearm. You might be able to. There are ways you can get a firearm. But then if you get caught with one in a foreign country, you may be up that creek that we all know about. But get a weapon. Get more than one weapon. Get things you can have on you all the time to use as a weapon. And I'm always surprised I'm not surprised, but when they write these movies and they go through this whole process and the person never gets a weapon, right? Okay. All right. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to make another one here in a minute about we have a serious homeless invasion going on in our country, and I don't think most people realize it. I'm going to make that one here, but watch this movie and come back and tell if you've watched it, if you've seen it, leave your comments and let other people know what you thought about it. You can even put in your comments lessons that you took away from it. I'm not going to here because I'm going to do a whole another one on getting out of the city, but feel free to leave those comments of what you think he did right, did wrong, should have done, didn't do, whatever. Okay. So let us know what you think. Remember, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.